Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. Add the Mind of an Entrepreneur show to your Roku TV lineup and catch up on past episodes of all your favorite Mo Today shows.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible...
Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. You are tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talk, where we talk about life, love, and business. And today is episode 3 of the proper handling of people. So I'm going to go grab my tea. Y'all check out a couple more commercials, and we'll be right back and dig into this very powerful spiritual subject tailored for us as conscious entrepreneurs. See you in a few. All right, we're back and welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talk series on the proper handling of people. This is based upon the book and subject taught to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but I'm applying it here to entrepreneurs and leaders in the world of business. We are now in week 3 of the series. And for those of you who don't know, I'm your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I'm an international business and real estate developer and consultant and an urban historic preservationist. The mission of my brand is to help those of us in marginalized communities to become happier, healthier, wealthier, and to experience more love. One of the methods includes doing for self, thinking for ourselves, and not being afraid to infuse our spirituality into business. Business is the activity of life, according to our beloved leader, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I've spent my entire life in business. I've built and managed over $500 million in projects and professional business endeavors, both in the corporate world and a few for myself. And I recently added new services to my portfolio that include work in the preservation and hospitality industry. And my greatest venture to date is the development of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum and the renovation and restoration of his former home. We are working towards the completion of the museum. The finish line is in sight, and we are in a fundraising phase of the project. So to become a sponsor, send us an email. Send it to sajdahhouse@gmail.com. Somebody can type that in the chat for me. And to donate or purchase a coin, take a look at the ticker going across here at the bottom of the page. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the page and hit the notification button so that you are alerted anytime we go live. And please go back and check out past episodes of all of our shows. I wanted to let you guys know that we have a new Cash app. It's Sajdah Enterprises now. So it used to be $Mo today. Now it's $Sajdah Enterprise. And I'll put that up on the screen throughout the show so that you all can remember. So let me see what's in the chat. What are y'all sipping on? I made some fresh herbal tea, chai tea this morning. I put some fresh cardamom and calendula, some ginger, a little rooibos, and star anise in there. So what y'all got? Okay, this is the new Cash app. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Let's see who we got in here. Walaikum salam, Brother Lamont. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, Grand Rising. Good morning and Grand Rising, Mother. Sister Alita, walaikum salam, family. Blessings to you as well. Brother Victor, walaikum salam. Sister Sandra, walaikum salam, and happy Saturday to you as well. Sister Aishaya Muhammad, walaikum salam, Grand Grand rising. Mom says she got some pumpkin spice over there. That must be pumpkin spice coffee. So let's get into it. What y'all got? All right. Okay. So I wanted to just say, I think sometimes we take this for granted, but congratulations to you. Congratulations on being here and caring about how to properly handle people, because some people just don't give a damn. Straight up. They are happy in their unhealthiness. They are sick and evil, hard-hearted, we cannot let that deter us from doing the work to become happier, healthy, wealthier, and experiencing more love ourselves. We can't let the evilness of other people deter us from submitting to Allah and aligning with His will. I was sitting here waiting to get started this morning. When I got up, I did a quick 20-minute yoga set and some prayers. And then I just sat here and listened quietly, working on my mental strength and peace and separation from those whose unhealthiness could impact me because of proximity. A lot of us are dealing with that. A lot of us saying, the hater that's way down there, I'm not worried about that. It's the haters that's up around us sometimes that can be difficult. My desire is to be healthy and beautiful and pleasing to Allah. So it's important that we all work towards being healthy, because some of us are so unhealthy that we need to go get us some help. We really, really do. We really, really do. I'm so happy that people like Charlemagne the God are really pushing people to go get counseling, because there's a lot of us that need to go get some help. We are dealing with trauma, either because we're just downright unsuccessful or because we're hurt, jealous, envious, insecure, uncivilized, savage. And being around these people can be like interacting with a Tasmanian devil. You don't know when that thing gonna spin and bite you. And hurt people. But the rub is when our response to the need for help inspires us to become even more devilish, ungrateful, and unhealthy. So as you work to heal and do better, beware of the boundaries that you need to keep in order to continue to advance your own personal healing. Stay focused on healing and being healthy. You're going to hear that a lot from me during this series. You can be sick at any age and you can be healthy at any age. Let's be intentional about our mental and spiritual health. Let's be intentional about how we treat others, and even when they aren't looking. I used to always ask my clients, who are you when nobody is looking? Rest assured, what goes on in the dark manifests in the light. So let's dive into the proper handling of people. I see you here. Sister Letha says she got some coffee with pumpkin spice almond milk creamer and a little cinnamon stick. Okay. All right. I'm coming out with a Sajdah chai, so we can all be sipping and tasting these herbs during every coffee talk. And y'all know, I'm really, really looking at expanding the coffee talks. I'm just waiting for the space. I'm hoping to be able to do it from my office at Sajdah House, and we can just, you guys can come by and we can just have live coffee talks and have guests on, and maybe even doing it more than one day a week. Something to think about. All right, let's dive into the proper handling of people. This is a spiritual practice. I'm going to say that again. The proper handling of people is a spiritual practice. It's an act of your spirituality. It's not just customer service or leadership training or human resources or vendor management or employee development. It's a real spiritual practice that we have to be intentional about. Let's ask ourselves, what are we depositing into the universe? And if we get back from the universe what we're depositing into the universe or into the world, what is it that we want? What are we trying to extract? Because we can't mishandle people. We can't dog out our employers and employees and mimic the colonizer and expect to extract goodness from the universe. It's just a different day and time. You could say, yeah, they did it. It won't work today. Yes, of course, there's always mercy. There's people who don't deposit anything good, and God always has mercy on them. And that's what we pray for, mercy, right? So that we get blessings even when we don't deserve them. Just waking up in the morning. Some of us don't even deserve to wake up, but Allah wakes us up. He's got that mercy and gives us another chance. But as conscious entrepreneurs, let's be intentional. Type that in the chat. Let's be intentional about how we treat people in hopes that our universal deposits can manifest some supernatural withdrawals. Ooh, that's a bar. Y'all ought to put that in the chat. Our universal deposits can manifest some supernatural withdrawals. It's about flow. We talk about this. Y'all know this is our activity when we do coaching. We're flowing. And so we're wishing each other peace and flow. And let's focus on the proper handling of people because it's the right thing to do. Let's not contribute to anyone else's trauma. Let's not trigger them. Let's be responsible and let's heal. Let's focus on how we handle other people, especially when nobody is looking. All right, I wanted to address something because this morning when I was waiting to come in, that's right, let's be intentional. I prayed on this subject and I asked Allah for guidance, and He guided me to Surah 8, voluntary gifts, verse 29 and 30. It says, "O you who believe, if you keep your duty to Allah, He will grant you a distinction and do away with your evils and protect you. And Allah is the Lord of mighty grace. And when those who disbelieved devised plans against thee, that they might confine thee, that they might confine thee, or slay thee, or drive thee away, and they devised plans." And here's what I want you to get from this. And Allah too had arranged a plan. And Allah is the best of planners. So go read that, Surah 8, verses 28, 29, and 30. That's our theme today. I asked for guidance. That's the theme. Let me read it one more time. "O you who believe, if you keep your duty to Allah, He will grant you a distinction and do away with your evils and protect you. And Allah is the Lord of mighty grace. And when those who disbelieved devised plans against thee, that they might confine thee." See, people make plans and hate on you and put evil out there because they're trying to confine you. They're trying to stop your growth. They're trying to stop you from expanding. They're trying to stop Allah from flowing through you and stop you from being a believer. "And when those who disbelieved devised plans against thee, that they might confine thee, or slay thee, or drive thee away. And they devised plans, and Allah too had arranged a plan. And Allah is the best of planners." Type that in the chat. Allah is the best of planners. Even if you're not a Muslim, you can just put God is the best of planners. So let me get this. This is a tough part of the talk, but I got to get this out there because I've seen this so much throughout my years as a consultant going into these corporate environments. When you start going in and out of these different environments and corporate cultures, you can see certain things. So let me address something that is very real in the workplace. And a lot of us have either seen it, been involved with it, or dealt with it. Okay. And I can't tell you how many environments I've seen destroyed because of this. I've seen so many environments destroyed because of sexual misconduct. A predator roaming free in the workplace, whether it's the boss or a rogue employee who can't control themselves. This causes major setbacks in the workplace. Look, don't get me wrong. Office romance is practically inevitable, and it's a widely accepted concept in many cases, but it's still complicated because colleagues getting together like that can increase the risk of sexual harassment claims and reports of hostile work environments, as well as it can create conflicts of interest. Now, there are plenty of people who have met their soulmates at work, and that's okay. Where else were you going? That's where you spend the most time. That's where you're likely to meet them. It's not about not meeting your soulmate at work. It's about how you conduct yourself. But there are plenty of organizational environments that are like daytime soap operas. I've seen it ruin companies and lives. There's something about others in the environment witnessing chronic, inappropriate behavior that can cause them to lose faith in the company, in the business, in the organization. Many people witness this type of sexual predatory behavior in the workplace and in large corporate environments, and it doesn't seem to impact the bottom line. So we go to work for these big companies and we're like, well, shoot, that's what they do down there. But in a small company, this type of behavior can become a cancer in the environment. It can literally eat away at your business. Many employees are truly followers. They're really looking for somebody to look up to. So when they see the boss engaging in misconduct, they take that to mean sometimes that they can do it too. And it can get really messy. So as a leader and executive, this is something that we must avoid. Yes, we're going to meet people that we're attracted to. Yes, we're going to meet people that we like. Yes, we may very well meet our soulmate at work. And if you do end up meeting your soulmate at work, you should be very intentional about how you handle the situation and how it impacts others, especially if you're a serial offender. Remember, energy doesn't lie, and what goes on in the dark impacts a lot of things in the light. Y'all doing all right? I see the bullseye and all of that. Yeah. Okay. So I titled today's talk on the proper handling of people. Leaders are people too. See, many of us are dealing with PTSD and pain from trauma inflicted upon us by people in authority over us. Whether it's a teacher, an army sergeant, a coach, a parent, this pain causes us to hate on our leaders. We comb through their behavior and look for what's wrong and ways to hurt them. And in the meantime, we are emotionally, spiritual, and physically dependent on them. Look at that. We hate them, but we can't live without them. It's like a love-hate relationship. So what I want us to think about as we go through chapter 3 of the proper handling of people is how we have to adjust our view of those that take responsibility to do things that we won't do. So this chapter is divided into a few sections. And the first section is entitled, People Work Best. So people work best when they feel their efforts are important. Having empathy and connecting to someone who is making an effort is critical for us when we're striving to handle people correctly or properly. It's completely unproductive to disregard, belittle, diminish someone's efforts. So people work best when they feel their efforts are important. This is how you can make people in your business, in your company, in your relationships, this is how you can make them feel like their efforts are important. Because remember, that's in and of itself a critical move. Here's the first one. Understand that each employee is an individual with feelings, desires, needs, wants, dreams, emotions, flaws, and who is simply somebody who just wants to know that they matter. When you make a person feel like they don't matter, it's bad. See, feeling significant is a basic human desire and a critical factor for mental, emotional, and physical well-being in life, school, work, and relationships. So if you're in a relationship with someone and you make them feel, see, this is a form of abuse. And I want us to be real clear on this, because a lot of us are really abusive because we abuse people's efforts. We abuse people and try to make them think that they don't matter. Sometimes we do it up where we'll make the boss think that they don't matter. And sometimes the boss makes us think that we don't matter. Mattering is also dependent on others. And fulfilling this vital human desire is a community endeavor, something we have to be very intentional about it. Let people know that they matter. Don't abuse people by disregarding and belittling their efforts. In other words, others around you should know that they matter because of you. One of the most devilish things you can do to someone is to make them feel as if they don't matter. Let's spend a little time here and discuss ways in which we can let a person know that they matter. Because some of us are just mimicking behaviors that we've experienced. Some of us are so dumb that we are just not conscious that we're just doing what we've seen somebody else do. Some of us are just afraid of being the failures that we are. So we just keep failing. When in fact, we can win. We just have to be intentional and we have to pay attention to winning. All right. This is how you can let a person know that they matter. Y'all okay? Let me know in the chat. First thing you have to do is see them. Seeing them means you have opened your mind and heart to them and that you're fully present. Though you may know them well, you're as interested as you were the first time you met them. I'll tell you a personal principle that I have. If I do business with someone, or whether it's a family member, it could be a close relative, it could be a really close friend, I am even more intentional about making sure that they know that they matter and that they feel respected than I am from people that I don't know. See, because some of us can go out into the workplace. We can deal with somebody who got money and we'll kiss their backside all up and down the street. But the person next to them, they'll dog them. But I make a personal mission. And anybody who's worked with me, anybody who knows, I will treat you with just as much, if not more respect than that person down the street that might have a heavy bag. Next thing you can do to let a person know that they matter is acknowledge them. When you acknowledge someone, you recognize their value and importance. Don't ignore your employees. I've been in so many corporate environments where I see the person who's the boss and they're walking through, they trying not to make eye contact to nobody. They don't speak. Speak to people and be human. Sister Aletha and I were having this conversation the other day. Some of us just are not human. And being a leader does not mean that you have to be a robot. You're not a cyborg. Next thing you should do is listen to them with interest. Be genuinely interested in what somebody that works for you has to say if you call yourself being a leader. As business owners and managers, we should be very interested in what our team has to say. See, what our team has to say can be valuable intel that can help us to elevate our businesses and careers. See, because once you become a boss, it's certain things people ain't going to do and say around you. Once you become a boss, you lose your connection to the streets, if you will, and you don't have boots on the ground. So you need some intel. Why you think they always forcing people to snitch? Because they can't find the stuff out otherwise. They don't have boots on the ground. Well, oftentimes you don't have boots on the ground. Even if you're there every single day, people still going to act different when you come around. So you should be listening to what people are saying and what they're not saying. Listen with interest. The next thing is be engaging. Ask questions and care about the answer. Don't be just fake. Have you ever had someone ask you, how you doing? And before you can even answer, they've already started addressing someone else in the meeting. That lets you know right there that you don't matter. That's fake. Well, we may do this in the streets. We'll say, how you doing? But in a business setting, this can signal to the person on the other end that they don't matter to you. Next thing we got to do is be present. The ultimate present you can give another person is your presence. If your behavior sends a signal that says, I'm here and you matter, you will really see the efforts of your employee or team increase. And the opposite is also true. Production and effort will decrease when your actions signal that you don't care and that you don't matter enough and that they don't matter enough for you to even pay attention. See, sometimes we get so busy. We get up in the morning, we jump in our car, we're dealing with traffic, we're on the phone, we're rushing through the office. We think we're being intentional. We go sit down at our desk and we think, I'm a good person. We lay down at night and say, yes, I'm doing a great job. But it's these little nuances that can prevent us from being successful. That's why a lot of times we get in leadership and we go, I just don't understand. Why don't people like me? Well, sometimes people just don't like you because you're the boss. Sometimes people just don't like you because you're successful. But you want to be very intentional. You got to focus on your proper handling of people all the way down to the granular level. I'm sorry, let me put my phone on silent. Alerts coming through. Next thing you should do is make sure you believe in your employees. See, when we believe in others and encourage them to believe in themselves, we hand them the key to their own power. We help them stretch their thinking, envision success, and open the door to their true potential. Make sure you deliver in happiness. Be a conveyor of joy. I love to bring happiness and joy in. I love to smile. I love to laugh. I love, again, to be human, to interact. Engage in conversations about other people. I don't mean gossip. I don't mean slack talk. And I mean become far more interesting and interested. And where you become, let me say it this way. You and I become far more interesting and important when we talk about the exciting things that other people are doing. When we talk about the exciting things that other people are creating or writing or sharing. See, doing so gives us the opportunity to make a lot of new friends and establish ourselves as someone who is always learning and growing from others. Offer hope, pay attention to details, and be very intentional about service. All right, I see y'all commenting in the chat. Sis said, that's right. Great discussion, sis. Victor says, the more we help others to develop, the more Allah increases our ability to help. Listen, you said a word right there, Brother Victor. Okay. All right, Brother Lamont said he's doing fine. Let's move on. Here's something else that's important. Find out what people want out of their position. Proper handling of people just says it just like that. Find out what they want in their position. One of the things I ask a client or anybody I'm working with is I say, what do you want? This is a key question. You know why? Because this can help you to level set and understand their mindset, and most importantly, set some agreed upon expectations. So when you hire a cashier at your new chicken restaurant and you say, what do you want out of this position? And they say, I want to make $1 million. Well, you know, you only paying $15 an hour. So that's a chance for you to level set. Because you don't want them stealing everything that come through the register because they're trying to get up to their million. You want to be clear. Listen, this is what you're going to get. $15 an hour, 30 hours a week, or how many hours a week. This is what your paycheck likely going to be. But if they say, yeah, I'm going to make $1 million as a cashier, you better use that intel to quickly level set. So find out what people want. The next session defines and deals with situations. What is a situation? It uses the word situation clearly. So I asked the question, what is a situation? Well, a situation is a set of circumstances that you might find yourself in. Okay, then you might say, okay, well, what's a circumstance? A circumstance is a fact or condition connected with or relevant to an event or action. So, because this event took place or because this action took place, I am now living with this particular condition, if you will. That's a circumstance. So, what are the circumstances under which you and I, as leaders, perform the following? We follow in the text here. What are the circumstances under which we correct mistakes? That's a big one. As employers, we have to master the art of how to correct the mistakes. It's really an art. There's really no key answer, no set answer. Do you do it in public? Sometimes you have to. Do you do it in private? Sometimes that's better. Do you make it a teachable moment? That's a way to capitalize off of a mistake, making it a teachable moment. Or do you cover the employee's mistakes? That could be a problem. Think a few chess moves ahead. This will help you. It'll help you figure out, what do you need to do when you're correcting a mistake? How do you need to do it? Who's the employee? How often are they making these mistakes? Will covering their mistakes make them go deeper into their negativity or predatory behavior? Are these mistakes actually a sign of collusion or some type of fraud going on in the department or in the business? Was it an honest mistake? Was it the intention? Or what was the intention? So these are things, this is part of the art of correcting mistakes. There's no one answer. I used to read, I remember when you look at all these management books, they would say things like, well, you don't praise people in private, you do it in public, and you don't correct them in public, you do it in a, it's not that cut and dry. You got to use the art. When, where, how, what's the situation? Here's the next thing. What are the circumstances under which, or what conditions do we create, or what conditions do we need to read first when correcting mistakes and knowing how to do it, when to do it, but also when to praise someone? How does that praise impact the rest of your team? How does it affect your employees? Are people getting jealous of the person that you praise? Are they now attacking them? Or does praising that person really help motivate other people? It all depends on the condition. Why do they do Employee of the Month and put that employee's picture up there in the front of the grocery store? What does that mean? So you have to think about the condition that you're creating when you're doing these things. Here's some other things. I'm just going to read them through. What are the conditions when you're dealing with personal problems? Employees are going to come to you with personal problems. How do you deal with them? It's an art. Resolving personal conflicts, getting them to work as a team, handling grievances, giving orders, introducing changes. All of these things, see, we're so quick to look into a manual. And that's important, looking into the manual to see what the company policy is. And it's important for us to write that into our company policies and write these things into our company policies and procedures. But when it comes down to the real science of it, we got to really dig into understanding the conditions. Under what conditions are you giving orders? Because if I give you an order and it's emergency, I might say, close the door. But if I just need you to pull the door up because I got to make a phone call and say, can you close the door for me, please? It's the conditions that are going on around me. How do I introduce change? If we're in the middle of something and I got to quickly make a quick change, I may not have time to explain to you why I'm making the change. I might just say, look, do it this way right now. But if we have time and the conditions are different, then I can actually explain it to you and walk you through it. Okay? If we're dealing with a personal conflict, How do I resolve that personal conflict between employees? It depends on the conditions. If we're in the middle of a battle and y'all up there fussing and fighting, then I got to say, stop, shut up. The enemy's right here. But if you all come to me and we're in a peaceful environment and we can sit down and write it out on the blackboard, that's a different condition. I think y'all got what I'm saying. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you understand exactly what I'm saying. Conditions. Paying attention to the conditions will dictate how you handle these things. Okay, let me say them one more time. Paying attention to the conditions are going to help you determine how you correct mistakes, how you praise, how you deal with personal problems, how you resolve personal conflicts, how you get people to work as a team, how you handle grievances, how you give orders, and how you introduce change. Now, let's talk about dealing with authority. Those of us in management positions have to know how to manage up, and we have to know how to manage down. Managing up means that you got to know how to deal with the executives above you. If the executive comes in the room and curses you out, and they come in and they're cursing about somebody that they saw in the parking lot, that don't mean that you listen to them. You figure out what they're upset about and what needs to be corrected. But do you go out there and cuss them out too? You got to take that and interpret that and then read the conditions and then go and correct the behavior. So that's managing up, knowing how to filter through their emotions. But let's talk about more. Let's talk about how do we deal and how do we see them? Because our executives, our boss, our leaders, they're people too. We talked about it at the onset of the show. Your success as an employee depends on how you get along with them too. It's not all on them. Sometimes I listen to people complain and they blame everything on leadership. Well, if they would do this, if they, there's no, let me see what I can do to correct myself. Let me tell you something. Part of personal management is focusing first on the things that you can control. And you can control yourself. You can control how you see something. You can control your behavior. You can control what you draw to yourself. Pay attention to the things that you can control. Maintaining good relationships with upper management and executives is a good thing if you possibly can. There are several steps that we should take because when dealing with people's personal problems, right? Because personal stuff that gets intertwined into our organization can be challenging. Okay. Your business may be going very well. And then one of your top employees or your key managers has a life event that just takes them out of the game. Well, you have to know how to deal with that. You have to know how to handle that because at the same time, you want to preserve and honor the employee, but you also have a business to run. So you have to be paying attention and be very sensitive. Here's some of the steps that we should focus on when we're handling personal problems. Number one, we should listen without judgment and suspend your advice at the beginning. Just listen. Then we should help the person to clarify their thinking because a lot of times when things happen to us, we go into emotional hijack and we can't think straight. So when they come in your office and sit down, they're in full fight or flight mode. They've been completely emotionally hijacked. And you got to help them sift through and clarify their thinking so that they can move forward in a more productive and concise manner. And then you want to assist them in carrying out those decisions. Sometimes people come to you and you can't help them. Sometimes you don't have a solution. What do you do in these situations? Because you don't always know what to do. Here's 4 quick suggestions. Somebody comes in your office, they sit down. I've had this happen to me many times, and they tell you something and you don't know what to do. It's a personal thing. You either don't know what to do or you don't want to get in it. Number one, see if you can lessen the responsibility. What can you offer to help? How can you kind of lift a little bit of a burden off of their shoulder? Maybe it's just listening. Maybe you offer them a day off. Maybe you let them get off early. Um, I don't know. Maybe you advance them their next paycheck. I don't know, but you got to read those conditions. The next thing you want to do is you want to create a new interest, maybe giving them something else to focus on. So maybe they're disappointed because they didn't get that new position. And now you want to let them know, well, here's something else you can focus on. Here's areas in which you can improve. Here's another position that might be more suitable for your skill sets. Then make sure they know that you hear them and what? That they matter. People want to know that they matter. Part of the problem that we deal with when you see Black people on television talking about white supremacy, and they just want to know that they matter. A lot of people are just acting out because they want to know that they matter. And then you want to emphasize to the employee the need to carry on. So yes, you're present in this situation today, but give them something to look forward to. Let them know that they have to carry on. Let them know that God has never forsaken them. He has, and He won't today. There are two basic goals, and we talked about this last week when, as leaders that are important to people. One is their security. Could be physical security, can be emotional security, could be spiritual security. You want to create a safe environment for people to work and create and to live and to be. The workplace should be safe on all those levels. And people need approval. They may look tough and act tough, but people need approval and respect. They want an opportunity to excel and to show off their abilities. And before we go, let me say this. According to Psychology Today, I saw this yesterday. Generally, there are three types of people who function in a society or group. Here's those three people. Three types of people, right? That are in your company, in your group, in your society, in your organization, in your sorority, in your family. You got the people pleasers. You got those who care very little about what people think about them, people who just don't give a damn. And then you got people who vacillate between pleasing others and pleasing themselves. Most of us fall in the third category. However, which of the two ways they choose often depends on who they want to please and what they have to do to accomplish that. There's a strong connection between social approval and self-worth. And as a consultant who is often asked to evaluate corporate cultures or to set policies and procedures that will support a specific culture, usually when we find employee disengagement, we can trace it back to a lack of self-worth and social approval. So people want to know that they matter and they want to be socially approved. So that's episode 3 on the proper handling of people. Give me your feedback in the chat. Let me know what you think. It's a lot of information here. We can always go back and reread it again. Don't forget Surah 8, verse 29 and 30. Very, very powerful. As we move through, let's be intentional. Let's be extremely intentional. I see y'all with all the thumbs up in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Good morning, Diane Thomas. Welcome. Aletha gave us lots of emojis. She liked it. Brother Victor, you liked it. Let me know in the chat what you thought about episode 3 of the proper handling of people. We're going to be going into episode 4, inshallah, next week. Let me know if you like it. Just a reminder to you all, we did get a new Cash App. So the new Cash App handle is Sajdah Enterprises. So y'all know what I'm about to say. Do not chip and dip me. Look, we on here giving corporate information, life-changing information that people pay thousands of dollars in the corporate world to receive. People ask me to come into organizations and speak on this. And you know what I do? I give them the corporate speak based on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So this is proper handling of people. I'm sorry, I just saw a big deer just go right past my window. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, we take our spirituality and we learn how to infuse it, right? Infuse it right into our corporate life, right into our work life. Um, so I'm glad the conditions matter. Yeah, you're right, Sister Sandra. The conditions matter as to how you deal with a situation. You got to know how to read the conditions. Um, so much of business is about developing your professional intuition. It's an art. So much of it is about developing that. A lot of us are just looking for that manual that tells us step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, but you got to know the conditions. Good morning, KT. Thank you for joining us. My condolences to you and your family. Anyway, how we handle conditions, how well we develop our professional intuition is really going to determine our success. Because if all we can do is check a box, we're going to always be a box checker. We're going to always be working some mundane job for the rest of our lives and living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck. But the more we increase these types of skills and learn how to build relationships and learn how to handle things. Listen, I'm one of those persons, I'm a master at bringing people together. I will bring people together from different cultures. If you've ever worked with me, you know that. And I'll say, hey, this is how we can use your skills over here. And this is the reward you can get. I'm big on helping people with bartering and just really bringing people together. So my corporate intuition or my professional intuition is very developed. But some people got to work on that. And that's okay. This is like yoga, right? There's no judgment. There's no judgment if you can't touch your head to your knee. You just keep trying. You just keep going. You just keep sinking into the flow of the proper handling of people. And you'll see how you'll find yourself improving and you'll find yourself being ready and more able to deal with conditions as they arise. So let's see, what did Sister Ashia say? She said it was right and exact, so refreshing to hear. I was napping my observations of what you described in the different environments I've been in. Oh, mapping. Mm-hmm. Also, where I am applying and must apply. That's right. Okay, you guys. So you're welcome, Sister Diane. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for sharing this relevant info regarding emotional hijacking. Oh, yeah. I got some classes I've done on emotional intelligence. It seems so many people in our society, you are right, they get emotionally hijacked and they stay in a hijacked situation. Some of us live in fight or flight, and that's not healthy. It's not good. It's not good for your decision making. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your organs. It's just not good. Period. Point blank. All right, so support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. Y'all know our history matters. Doing this type of preservation work it's a lonely road. It's a tough road because for over 400 years or more, no one has ever cared about our history as Black people. There's not been a value attached to our history as Black people. So it becomes difficult to get people to support and donate about Black history. Why? Because even we ourselves don't value our history. We don't even care about it. And so when somebody like myself is saying, look, this is new territory, let's monetize our history, our stories. And I'm out here saying, look, so I made sure that I put up my own money. And so I'm well into the game. I put up 95% of the money. I'm just looking for 5% of the money from my fellow Black people who support and understand the importance of preservation. Okay, this is groundbreaking. It's revolutionary. So make a donation. Going across the bottom are the instructions. So after you like and subscribe to the page, you can either order a commemorative Elijah coin, or you can just make a donation. If you want to do it with a credit card, You can go to sajdahhousedonations.com. If you like Cash App, you can go to $ Sajdah Enterprises. Now, I'm gonna put that across the screen so that you all know we got to shame y'all as Black folks into donating and supporting your history. Let me tell you something. One of the best blessings that Allah could have ever given me is this new window of opportunity to become a historic preservationist. I've always loved history, but this right here, learning about the incredible accomplishments of our people, starting with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum and uplifting the name of our ancestors, uplifting the name of the life giver and the life-giving teachings. This stuff that we're learning, this proper handling of people, where y'all think it came from? Oh, this side. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's his picture right there over my shoulder. You see it right here? I need to get I'm gonna get a bigger one so y'all can see it. That's where it comes from. But because the media made you disregard this little man, y'all say he's country, he can't talk. Ooh, he was messing around with teenagers. It's a lie. What, nobody know teenagers? I'm so tired of that same lie. I was talking to somebody the other day, talking about donating. You know what they said to me? They said, I would donate, but I know Elijah Muhammad killed Malcolm X. I said, what rock you been under? I started sending them some of the episodes from Brother Wesley, and I seen when Benjamin Crump did the special and all these different people but Brother Wesley, he be on it when it comes to that and a lot of other things, but especially that. I said, are you kidding me? What kind of rock you been under? You ain't see the informant that just died? You don't know that there were 26 federal agents around Malcolm? You don't know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, hands off Malcolm? I'm not even going to go deep off into it. But y'all support people who have killed people for real, for little things. You sit up and watch shows and you don't even like the show unless people are dying in the show, unless somebody getting shot. But you're going to come and tell me that you don't want to make a donation because of a lie? No, that's because you disregard yourself. You don't have no self-worth, and you don't believe that your history matters. You don't believe in Black history. You don't believe in history. So when they tell you that slavery never exists, you the kind of person that'll buy into it. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's true. It's a damn lie. It's a lie. Then somebody said to me, well, I know he was messing around with teenagers. Do your math. If you smart enough to repeat that BS, which is really what it is, he was a Muslim man. He had more than one wife. Period. That's how it go. And Malcolm knew that. And most of y'all know it too. Y'all want to run to Dubai. And a lot of those men got 3 and 4 wives. A lot of y'all now around here messing around with 4 or 5 people, but you're not honoring them. But this was not that. And this is not that. It ain't messing around. It ain't teenagers. It's a man who is a Muslim man who took on more than one wife. Just deal with it. You just got to deal with it. But does that mean that you don't want to support history? Is that what that means? It shouldn't. It really, really honestly shouldn't. I'm just keeping it real because it's just lame. It's especially lame in 2023. You got ratchetness all over the television. Girls on here talking about all the orifices of their body in rap songs, and y'all listening, singing, and dancing along, but you don't give a damn about your history. You'll pay money for that. And let that go into Chat GPT and be how people see you 50, 100 years from now. But you won't let the preservation of something as important as the most significant property in modern day Black history. There's more leaders. There's more civil rights icons. There's more key people that visited that home where this museum is established than any other in history. Do your homework. Do your homework, but support history. And then I'm gonna go this part. Even if you don't donate to this project, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House or Sajdah House. Support some kind of history. Go and document your ratchetness. So people know 100 years ago how ratchet you was, and they see how your life turned out, and they go, okay, I don't want to be like that because I just read his ratchet history. But document and support. There's plenty of projects out here. I'm working on a couple of projects myself. So let's be intentional about seeking truth, being truth seekers. Let's be intentional. Let's be different. Let's stop focusing on violence and ratchetness all day long. And let's focus on history. I watch more shows and videos about history and spirituality than I do ratchetness. What about you? I think in my brain more about how I can be aligned with the Creator than I do talking about and thinking about you. If I find myself excessively thinking about something, you know what I do? I fix it. That's what I can control. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to really get on that rant, but it's just little things that just become childish and silly. And we support, we'll go out and buy a sweatshirt or a t-shirt from a designer that is practicing child labor and participating in child labor practices, but we won't buy a t-shirt from a museum, from a man who dedicated his life. Some of us will go out here and we'll download the song about some ratchet behavior. We'll go to the strip club and make it rain. I'm not saying that they don't deserve their money because they're doing a service and that is what it is. But we will go there and make it rain. But we won't make it rain on no history. We won't make it rain on no righteousness. We won't make it rain when it comes time to preserving what is important to our communities that are already underserved. And then we get on TV and complain. Black men can't get along with Black women. We don't like each other. People giving up. I met somebody the other day said, it was a man. He said, I got tired of dating women, so I started dating men. I was like, wow, what a jump. We can do that. We do all of that. Make an investment in yourself. Make it rain on your history. Make it rain on your legacy. Don't curse your bloodline with all this bad and nasty behavior. The curses have to stop with you. The curses come in the form of all this negative behavior that we've been victim to as people who were kidnapped and brought over here. I'm just saying. Brother Lamont said, what a jump. What in the world? Look, this is all part of proper handling of people. Y'all may not believe it, but it is. How intentional are you? What are your real intentions? We just asked the question, who are you when nobody's looking? So anyway, that's my rant. Make a donation. We got a new Cash App up here. Like and subscribe. But listen, we got to be revolutionary about preserving our history. If we're not careful, our history will become extinct. And when you go into ChatGPT or the GTP 100 years from now, our true history won't be there unless we start preserving it and depositing it now. We have to teach the artificial intelligence who we are, not allow it to be fed some watered down, gussied up version of our history. We got to change our focus. And one of my goals is for us as key people in business and entertainers and athletes, for us to begin to focus on preservation. A lot of us stop working in those environments and we go into real estate. Some of us, when we're in those environments, we spend our money on ratchetness. But let's be intentional. So before we go, and I've been guilty of spending money on things that are ridiculous. So I'm not pointing no fingers at nobody and not making sure the rest of them are pointing back towards me. I got $5,000 Gucci purses, $2,500 Louis Vuitton, $7,000 bags and watches. But how many businesses could I have built, and how much preservation could I have been focused on if 10 years ago, instead of buying that $10,000 Rolex, I put my money into preservation? Something to think about. And you don't have to miss a beat. You can still be fly, but just take one of those little things that you was getting ready to go buy. You're gonna go to the mall. You're about to get that $20,000 Chanel bag. I know you're gonna get another one because you're gonna get the next one when it come out. Give that to Sajdah House. Give that to the preservation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, because we're building a model that, be it the will of Allah, we plan to utilize to help save and preserve history and real estate that is important to our underserved community. That's the real talk on it. I know y'all wasn't ready for this. I was in corporate speak earlier. That's why Brother Lamont said, what in the world? Yeah. I see that. I see people hungry and we out here. All right, family. I'm going to go before y'all get mad at me. Okay. We'll see you all this Thursday. I'll let you know. I'll do a live, let you know what guests we have, and then stay tuned for part 4 or episode 4 of the proper handling of people. See you soon.